For the better part of my career, more than 20 years, I've been a corporate girl in supply chain management and logistics or classical marketing. But come 2020, COVID and the Great Reset, I got an opportunity to work in a profit organization which was helping young unemployed people to be able to break out of that trap of unemployment by connecting them with their first employment opportunity, allowing them to build experience, build that reference letter, and then move on to bigger opportunities. My name is Novantum Kulwana, and in this season of my life, my ambition is to help the emerging social entrepreneur to be able to flatten that learning curve, scale up their projects, and deliver more impact quicker than ever before. Join us on the NPO Bootcamp as we show you how to level up your social enterprise. Hello and welcome. This is the NPO Bootcamp, where in collaboration with established social enterprises that have been around for a while, we show you, the early stage or emerging nonprofit, how to build and scale your organization. I'm Novantum Kulwana. I've made it my business to find organizations which are tackling some of South Africa's most pressing societal issues or are offering game-changing solutions for the NPO community. Raising Giants organization has set itself the mission to empower youth for greatness, including youth coming from rural areas. I'm joined by the founder and chair, Kgomotso Khosa. Welcome, Kgomotso, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Nose.
Kgomotso, we have to start with the backstory of how you and I got to know each other.
Yeah.
You go first.
We met at Chile.
Right?
Yes. In
Yes.
2004.
Yes, that is correct. So it's a 20-year relationship.
It's a
This is a committed relationship.
Very committed relationship. When I think about that time, you came in and probably you played a pivotal role in where I see the role of a mentor or somebody to just hold your hand. Because it was rough. I was a graduate, had a lot of things I didn't know about corporate, and that's how it started off.
Do you know that I still remember your first day in the office when they took you on the walk around? I still remember when I met you in the passages, you were coming from the HR side. Mm-hmm. And there was this young girl, fresh face, beautiful smile. And then we ended up in the cubicle next to me, right?
Yes.
We were neighbors.
Yes,
we were neighbors. So that was an awesome time. And then you left to go to Toyota.
Yes.
And for me, like when I reflect on our relationship, you're like that girl that just never stopped calling. Sometimes we stay in relationships because we are in proximity every day at work. But even when we stopped working together, you would always call. And I still remember like the big milestones in your life when all of your cohort got your black tassels. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you came.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
In Toyota,
You got your black tassels and you brought your test to my house so that I could bless it?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I don't know. I don't remember. I even just got goosebumps.
I still remember. And then you upgraded to the Runex.
Yes, the blue one.
Yes, and
then
what the Runex?
Okay.
Did I bless the Runex?
I don't remember.
I don't remember if I blessed the Runex. And then where did you move to after that?
From Toyota, then from Toyota that's when I decided to stop working and go on my own.
I remember.
Yeah.
There was a plumbing gig you did.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no shame. And then when did the vision for Raising Giants start?
So it was actually birthed in Toyota. When I was at Gillette, the fact that there was somebody there. I don't know if you remember, there was a time, my boss at the time called me in the middle of, like it was a weekend, and then she asked me to do something and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And then I called you. I actually drove from Rustenburg to the office. Then I called you. We didn't have laptops then. I called you and you actually came through and you unpacked what was supposed to happen for me. And I think the idea of just ensuring that somebody has somebody to hold their hand, it was planted then. So when I got to Toyota, that's when I thought, but this is something that I could do. So by the time I left Toyota, I had already put in the plans for RGO.
Okay.
I had already reached out to my network because some of the people who are in RGO are people I met in Toyota. So it was at that point actually when the whole thing was
But
formed.
if I can jump in very quickly, your secret sauce is that you are able to get everybody, your whole family is even, everybody, like even your kids are in RGO now.
And once you are in, right?
Like there's no escaping, right?
Like even Bokolani and the Wobo, I went to join Gomi family. I see it.
Yeah.
You know, so that is my secret sauce, honestly. That's my superpower. I attract the most amazing people, you know, and they just buy into this vision. And sometimes I move because of the people around me,
Right.
like, because they have bought into it and they are telling the story. So I'm like, okay, you better keep it. You better keep going with this, you know, because I've sold it to everyone and everyone is involved and everyone believes in it.
So from the time that you came up with this idea and the name for Raising Giants, what was the first step in terms of bringing the vision to life? Can you remember?
I do. So the first thing I did, obviously I got buy-in, right? I was staying in Kgomotso City. I got buy-in from the school. I said to the school, this is what I want to do. I want kids who I can work with. And then I went and put it on email.
No, stop, Homsi. Before you go, so at the school, who are you talking to? Because there are different decision-making structures in the school.
Yeah.
So who did you approach and what did you say to them?
And that's the amazing thing about being young and crazy. And, you know, I actually just went into Kgomotso City Primary and I said, can I speak to the principal? They sent me away. They said, you must come back the next day, or they gave me a date. And I went in. The principal was just amazed that, yes, this person has been trying to get a meeting with me, and this is what she's saying. And she bought into it. Immediately.
Funny one.
She was like, and Mrs. Kumando, you know, and those are the people, it's people who are putting your journey to just unleash, right? And then she said, okay, go ahead. I'll allocate a teacher to you, and we'll find young people that you can work with. Then after that, I remember going home, and I'm like, okay, it's happening. And then I sent an email to everyone to say, and one of the people in Raising Giants, Edu, he always sends me that email where I was saying, guys, I want to change the world. And this is how we are going to change the world. We are going to get young people and we are going to feed them with all these amazing experience, skills, and then we are going to build amazing people. But the name Raising Giants didn't come at that time. So at that time, I had so many names. I think it was called Outbound, Experienced. At some point, I was calling it Unleashing Potential.
Okay.
And then there was a time in Toyota, they took us for training. And this training is written by this guy, but the story is about the lions and how you raise lions and what lions do. And in that, and I remember they gave us the book as a gift. And the book is called Raising Giant Killers.
Oh, really? Yeah, there is such a thing.
There's a book called Raising Giant Killers.
Okay.
It's about lions. And if you listen to the story, you realize, that's what we were trying to do, because a lion goes in the top of the mountain and then gives birth, let's say, to more than one cub, and the cub that's struggling, it leaves it there.
Are you for real?
For real? Okay, according to the book.
Okay.
And then the cub that's doing well, it actually comes down the mountain with a payout. And that's what we are trying to do, right? Because the opportunity is there for young people. We are saying, hey, hop on board, and we move with. Yeah, wonderful. That's where the name comes from.
So Mrs. Khumalo has bought in. You shoot off that email to.
Then I do lunch at my house, and there's about maybe 12 people showing up, and we are all ready. But and that's another secret sauce to Raising Giants is the way I plan, right? So by the time I'm talking to somebody about this thing, I've already thought it through. How are we going to do it? So it's easy to get buy-in. So I was saying to them, guys, this is what we want to do. Here's the year plan. This is where I will need your time. This is my expectation from you. If I'm giving you a topic to speak to these kids about, please go and research. You've got X amount of months to work on that. And yeah, so it made it easier for people to come through.
So these 12 people that were invited for lunch, the role you envisaged for them was what?
Mentors.
Okay, so see that's a mentor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that time, I also wanted the young person we would be meeting at Kgomotso Primary School to see this Black excellence. I wanted them to see that there's a person who is working, who went to school, and it's a real person, you know. So it was people who were doing well, like just people who were not stuck.
You know what, Khosi? I remember when I would come to Kgomotso Primary School, whenever I was coming, because I wasn't there every day.
Yes.
Like, girl, the cars that are shining in the park. Yes, it's serious cars. Yes. So I'm saying, yes, I see the connection.
And you must remember, there are people who, like for me, the RGO story, there are people who started at RGO. Perhaps I was working with a sister. The sister was part of RGO, and then this person was in matric. And then I'm thinking of Tlale at the moment. And then she would just come visit, right? And now Kelly is going to varsity, and one of the mentors has to go and pick her up from varsity to bring her, and Kelly will speak to these young people about going to varsity. And then all of a sudden, Kelly gets married. All of a sudden, Kelly buys a car. And it's all real people. So the young people in RGO, and now we are seeing that with them. The kids we met in 2008, I get calls to say, "Moms, look at this." There was one who recently sent me a picture, and he said, "You just became a grandmom," and my heart just broke. I thought, she's pregnant, and then it was a picture of her fetching a new car.
Nice.
You know? And but for me, it's just continuously telling the Black child, you can actually break through out of whatever these circumstances are.
So let me interrupt you, Kgomotso. So when they're seeing that Tlale that's now starting at university, and they're seeing her progress in life, they've never seen that in their immediate surrounding. They don't know a real person in their family, in their network that has done that.
Sure. At the time when we started, it was rough, you know. Like South Africa, we come from far. You know, there are a lot of families where there wasn't a matriculant, you know. There's a lot of families where there wasn't a person working. Like we are first generations, especially you and I. We are first generations of a lot of things in our families. And now think about young people who there isn't a first generation of a matriculant. How do they aspire to break out of that situation? And how do they even think education can get you out of this situation?
But I think there's something that you've missed out when you were describing your interaction with Mrs. Khumalo and what you wanted to achieve. And I'm only remembering this because I've seen this on one of your videos. You went to Mrs. Khumalo and you said, we are looking for those kids that are struggling, that are from difficult backgrounds, that don't have support, that the system has written off. Those are the kids that you went for. You didn't go for the A students, the top performing kids.
No, and I still have a problem with corporate South Africa doing that. You know, I think there's room to embrace these young people who are doing well. But I think that, yes, you will find, out of 100, you will find at least 5 top A students. And you will find the B's and the C students. And it's not necessarily because this child cannot do it. It is because of the circumstances. You know, sometimes kids really don't have textbooks. You know, people don't take this lightly. They take poverty lightly. They don't understand that maybe somebody can go and sleep without eating. It's real, you know. And that is why I'm not so big. I push my kids to achieve those. But I will not select a child for an opportunity based on that.
Based on academic merit alone.
And the thing about RGO is it's such a wholesome offering that we are trying to give to the kids. It's not necessarily that you are going to be an academic. You know, we've chosen 3 areas that we think a person can be successful in. You can be it's either career and entrepreneurship, or it's either sport and it's all arts and culture. So we are trying to nurture those in those areas. If we might meet a child who falls out of those 3 categories, but we will push ourselves to find out how do we sort this one out.
Where's
how
the
do we
best fit
empower
for that one?
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back to how we're building Raising Giants. Mrs. Khumalo's brought in, we've got the 12 mentors. So when you brought them in, their role was what? What were your expectations of them?
Most of the time, I just wanted them to be there so that they can give this young person a solid, practical example. You know, that this person exists. That this person that you see on TV, I mean, at the time, in the generation era, you know, those people that you see in the boardrooms during generations, they are here, they are talking to you, they are telling you how to get there. So that has always been me. So we were meeting once a month at the time, and we would have different topics, right? And when we have these different topics, then out of these people, for that month, we will divide and have groups of kids who one person would then focus on. And out of those conversations, then we start seeing the deeper issues outside the classroom. That's why we start seeing, this person, actually her mom just passed away. Or this person, there's a situation, this child does not have a place to stay. You know, and schools are there, but our schools have over thousands of kids. And there's no time to really find out. They play a very good role, but it also gives us an opportunity to really zone in on the kids as we were splitting the kids and would come together as a group to say, I've got 4 kids in this month, it's these people, this is what's happening in their lives. And then we would actually then rotate them so that these kids can get different experiences of people.
Let me see if I'm understanding. So you've got your 12 mentors, and then you've got how many kids from Kgomotso?
At that time, we got about 30.
30. Okay, so we divide them. So okay, so that's where you get 3 or 4 per person.
Yeah.
But we are not like a family. We are there for a month. We are in that unit for a month. Is that how it worked?
We did. It would be for a month, and then where we would see that there is a need to prolong this one, we wouldn't rotate them.
Okay.
There will be circumstances that said, keep it like this for a while.
Right.
Or sometimes we would have different activities and competitions where then the mentor and the kids will be like 2 to 3 months. We will be together. But it has always been shaped in a way that there's a bigger group that's raising giants, and then like in a funnel way. But eventually everyone got to experience everyone.
Okay. So if I go back to the meetings, and I go back to those calendars that you would send. So each month there would be a topic that you cover.
Yeah.
And then when we arrive in the morning, it's a big group meeting, right?
Yes.
There's a big group activity.
Yes.
And then when do the mentors connect with those 4 of the mini disciples or whatever? What is your word? What word did you come up with the giants? Yes. When does that interaction with the mentor and the giant happen? Is it on the Saturday meeting, or is it even outside of that?
It's during that meeting. So there will be a classroom conversation, and then there will be a small group discussion.
There will be a breakaway.
Or a breakaway presentation, and then from then on, then from those classroom conversations, there will be an activity that has to force them to be into the smaller, small groups.
So how did you get the kids to come in? Mrs. Khumalo thinks, yes, this is a great idea. Your mentors are like, yes, we're on board for whatever reasons. Now, what made these 30-odd kids keep coming back? Because they kept coming back, right?
Yeah.
And they could have chosen not to.
It's God.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first meeting, I can still smell the chalk. And you had these young people looking at us like, okay, somebody said I must come here.
So that first meeting, they had been told to go. They were instructed. These people are coming, you're going to be there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then we had the first meeting, but it was fun. One thing about RGO is we have fun. I remember one of the kids was saying, ma'am, I just came here for the hot dogs. It's something that we took so lightly. But she's like, hey, it was rough at my house. I just came for the hot dog.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
The other one, I just came because there was no one at home on a Saturday. I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we gave them something to do on a Saturday, and they came for different reasons. Eventually, they started seeing the merit in it, because if I think about Makhotso as an example, Makhotso was crying the first day, the first full day of RGO. She cried the whole day. I was so sure that she's not coming back.
How old was she? Can you remember?
She was 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the person that I'm talking now, and two different people, right? But she still came back, and she
Did you ever understand why she was crying the whole
because
time?
I asked her to speak in front of people.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right?
So she cried when she's talking, and right, even after she was finished talking, she was still crying.
No, she actually didn't speak in front of people by the time she cried. She saw that other people are forced to speak in front of people, and now they are going to make me talk in front of people. And then she's...
Okay, hopefully didn't play, eh? Okay.
Yeah. So, and then she came back, and all of them, when they reflect, I think it's that connection, the unity, having a space to just ask questions and have real conversations. Because some of the topics that we had, and it's so important for us to start at a specific age group. So that we can grow with them, and evolve with them. I mean, how we have evolved in the years is quite interesting, how we shaped up. And I guess this is the space, right? That you start thinking you're doing one thing and then you end up doing something else. But if you think about it, I remember the one topic that stuck to me was when we were discussing, and I feel like we didn't close that topic well, because we realized then that there's a problem when we were discussing patriarchy.
Okay.
And we realized then that there's a...
How far back are you talking? Are you talking way back when?
I'm talking,
okay, many years ago.
Yeah, but maybe these kids were starting to... both the genders were starting to be interested in each other.
Okay.
And the boys were finding themselves.
Right.
And it's exactly at the time where I felt like we are going to have a problem in the country with the boy child.
You were seeing that from your giants, how your giants were conducting themselves.
Yes.
What were you seeing?
I was saying they were very shocked by the fact that we were saying that you can't put, like, a woman doesn't come second, right? Like it's so instilled in our families that the girl child should wash the dishes, the girl child should wait on the boy. That we were talking something, like, it was it's one of the topics where I think it was, I walked away thinking, we could have done better.
Okay.
So the topics that we were discussing, going back to what you were saying, what kept them coming back, we were making them think, to say, are you going to be a resourceful person one day? Are you aware of this? And what does it mean to you? Yeah.
Okay, so we've touched on patriarchy. What are some of the other topics that you covered with the young people?
We spoke about money. I remember that we gave them, we asked them to break away in teams, and we gave them, like, I think 500 rands, and we said, in this 500 rands, you need to help someone feed the whole group. We just put different things, and now they have to work together. And these are 13-year-olds and 15-year-olds.
Sorry, you created a situation where there were competing priorities. Was it possible for them to do everything?
No.
Okay, so they had to prioritize.
Yes, they had to prioritize and they had to figure out, I mean, even now, Nobs, how many of us know how to deal with money? Yeah. So at the time, and it was really just planting that seed. So it's one of those topics that I think about. We did a lot. We took them to expose them to our history. I love politics, and so we would take them to these places and let them study about like what makes Mandela great, what makes Robert Sobukwe great, who is he, who is Hector Peterson, and things that were like outside the theory, history classroom. We tried to make it very, very relevant to them.
I remember you also covering things like career guidance.
Yes.
Talking to me about career options.
Yeah. I remember how I felt like we are not doing justice when it comes to, I will now call them the D child, not the A, like the, and also we are not doing justice, and our system is not doing justice to somebody who is really passionate about acting. Every parent wants their child to be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. And at the time, I was so passionate about saying that there are alternatives, right? And there's space in the creative space. And also, I remember, but it's when they were growing, so we punted education. We said education, and then these kids went to university and they got their degrees. Then, now they are not getting jobs. Then we had to get into where we have to make a plan, because now these kids, they did what you said. Hey, they ticked the boxes. They went to school. There was a child who did a BSc in genetics,
and they couldn't get a job.
What
is the problem? Are they maybe not specialized enough? Because for a genetics person who says maybe you need a master's or a PhD, I don't know, because genetics sounds super clever for me. So I don't know what's entry level with genetics.
I don't know, and I don't know. Something is broken, that translates from being unemployed or upskilled to working, but something is not well. And to give you an example with this child is that eventually we realized that it was not just her. We are having more and more RGO kids who get the degrees and they are not employed. And that's why we then evolved into the digital entrepreneurship program. And now this through the digital entrepreneurship program, we got different opportunities, And she sort of rebranded herself and went into tech and went to, I remember, and that's all we can do, right? Share information, get the information, share it. And she went into ALX and she was able to continue and equip herself. And now she was able to get a job.
The digital entrepreneurship program is so super sexy, but I don't want us to get into there yet. Let's finish the topics. And what I want you to think about, Kgomotso, is of the topics that you discussed with these young giants, which of them made the biggest impact or shifted their perspective in the most significant way?
It would be different for every one of them.
Okay, fair enough.
I remember the same person who was saying she did BSc genetics, right? There was a topic about spirituality.
Mm-hmm. This was one of the themes.
Yeah. Spirituality, like what grounds you? Where do you get your source? Where do you get your juice from? Is it God? Is it? And this young person, at the time, she was not even in matric. And she was solving math using biblical verses.
Johnny,
she has to display what she was doing. But how she was explaining all these theories, it was so biblically based. And I thought, and when you speak to her, she will bring back that, because all of them, it's different things for all of them. Yeah. If you speak to Tumpo, she'll tell you that this is the topic that stood out for me. If you speak to Kgomotso, she'll tell you that, for me, just knowing that it's okay. Like there's a topic we did, self-love. Imagine, like when I look back, I mean, it's 16 years ago, right? And over the years, you were on the cutting edge of things. Oh, yeah, we were. That team is on another level. So, and it wasn't me coming up with these topics, by the way. It's me saying to the mentors, here's the calendar. What are you bringing on? What are you gonna do? And they do it. And you do it. You lead that topic because it's something that you are passionate about. So for me, to be able to articulate yourself in front of people is important to me. As Kgomotso, I feel like you have to be able to stand in front of people and sell yourself. And I've seen how it has translated into the kids. So all my giants, there's absolutely no way, whether it's my giants or my nieces or my nephews, there is absolutely no way I can ask you to do something, publicly speak, address people, and you will like, I don't know. I'll be like, It will never work. No, you can't. You have to stand up and say your story. Say it. So and then we'll meet people like Bo Buitu, who is passionate about accounting and budgeting comes in, and you start teaching these kids those skills. There's a lady, Kele, who was more into cameras and directing movies. And I remember there was a point where she had actually given one of the giants a job. And this giant is now doing so well, like where she has moved in her space and in this space through that exposure, she has been able to navigate and become successful in the space.
So let me see tell me if I'm summarizing this correctly. So the recipe or the framework of Raising Giants is we have a monthly agenda. And each month we cover a different topic. We've got our 12 mentors who are kind of like the skeleton. And then each mentor will run with a project or a theme that resonates with them, and they will facilitate that in the big group. And then every month we take it in turns. Each month it's mentor number one. Then month two is mentor number two. That's handling that discussion topic in the big group.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's how it was. But remember, we are shaping up into a different type of organizing, how we are going to organize ourselves. Yeah. But it's still the same principle of what you have just described.
So we are imparting life skills, how to run your life, how to show up as a person, career guidance for these young people that nobody's doing that for. And that's what kept them coming back. That was phase one of Raising Giants, right?
Yeah.
Phase one.
Yeah.
Up until we got to the point where the Giants have gone through varsity, and sometimes Raising Giants has helped them get through varsity, and now they're stuck.
Yeah.
And then that's when digital entrepreneurship.
And then it's like,
then the digital
education. What's happening? Why am I not getting a job?
And we said education, and that education came with a loan, right? So now, if you can't get a bursary or sponsorship, or your parents can't pay for you, you go to NSFAS, and NSFAS is a loan, right? Now I'm not going to share my age, but NSFAS wasn't always 100% loan. When I was on campus, it was 60% bursary, 40% loan. I don't know what the ratio is now, but there was a part that I didn't have to pay out. But salary, I had to pay back more. But the point I'm making is the young person that graduates now, I think more of it is a loan.
Yes.
So you can't get a job. You've got the degree and you've got a debt to pay, and you don't know how you're going to service that. So then and
you have nothing to do. Having a degree and being at home. Do you understand? You've got nothing. It's nice to have these problems, but at least there's a schedule. You can go to school. Now you have nothing to do.
There's absolutely no distraction from this place of being stuck.
Yeah.
And then Raising Giants pivoted how to solve for that.
Yeah. That's where the digital entrepreneurship program was born. It was through a good friend, Hekima Council. So they said that, we are going to use design thinking to teach these young people how to build digital businesses. But for me, really, it wasn't even only about the digital businesses. It was about the exposure that the young person gets in terms of the digital space, because there's so much, off camera we were talking about why you struggled through editing.
No, why can't you tell the other people?
sorry. I'm not sure how you guys would do with it. But my point is there's a certain way you need to start moving. And if without the digital basics, it's gonna be so difficult. Like when somebody asks me to send them CVs, and then I send my giants to send me CVs, and that CV is just die. I'm like, guys, you've got Canva, you've got why is this CV not singing to me? Like it has to come up. Like somebody must see this and think, okay, So at that time, that's what the digital entrepreneurship came with, and it also had to spark interest. I mean, 50 unemployed youth, it's a lot.
That's how many were on the program?
That's how many were in the program. But the sad part about it is when the advert went out, we had over 500 people say we want to see this that we received is raising giant, right? CVs, right? CVs for something that said we are going to give you how much were we paying them? 1,000 rand?
Yeah, it was there.
Imagine, and we only had to take 50.
Oh, that was the capacity.
That's the capacity we had. That's what the stipend was going to be able to give us. That's sad. That's sad. And now, when we went through the digital entrepreneurship program, you realize that there are kids who don't know what Microsoft Word is.
I know, right?
That to me, yeah. So we packaged that, and
I'll describe for us how that was packaged. When you say digital entrepreneurship program, what did that look like? How long was it? What did you take the young people through?
So we were using an agile methodology, like design thinking. The point of design thinking is to say, to build a business, you don't have to do it the old ways. You get your concept, understand what the problem is, build the concept, quickly take it to market, learn, go back, fix it. And that's how a lot of digital companies were born. So I remember that we had at that time, and out of it, so remember, you are now giving this exposure to these people. So we gave them theory. After every theory, we say that this is the stage that you are in. You need to define, and it's different headings for the different topics. But define this and define what the problem is and your scenarios. I remember the topic where, there were a lot of topics. There were and amazing businesses are going to come out of.
Wait, but stop, because you've skipped a step. So now I know about the digital entrepreneurship program because Kgomotso asked me to be one of the mentors.
Yeah.
So I was paired with a group of 10 young people. And when she called me to speak about it, I was like, she's already outed me that I struggled with edit. So let's just carry on with the confessions, okay? So I was like, I don't know from a tech point of view, I'm the right person. And she's like, no, girl, you can handle this thing. So a fundamental part of it was that textbook called The Platform Revolution.
Yes.
So the young people had to work through that book called The Platform Revolution.
Them access to that
100%.
Yeah.
And then they had to go through the design thinking process.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. And from then on, they had to, I remember that, which group were you in? You were in Kgomotso's group.
Yes.
And you guys were solving for
youth unemployment.
Yes. So we had, every single group had to define what they are solving for and then try and build digital businesses around it. And some of the things, you guys came up with amazing ideas. And now I see some of those ideas. They're happening.
Wow.
So unfortunately, the way we were dependent, right, on the grant funders at the time, and we couldn't carry it through people were struggling with data, so we couldn't continue with the stipends. But it's such a missed opportunity. Some of there was a solution where you guys were saying an SMS where he just sends job alerts to people and it's free and he just gives them. We take that for granted. We take for granted the fact that if somebody does not have data and they don't have money to go buy a newspaper, even I don't even know if the careers are coming out, this person will be closed off from the world and they won't know what opportunities can get them out of that situation that they're in. So the point with the digital entrepreneurship program was to come up, teach these young people these skills to recognize these opportunities and be able to build something so that you can launch it. And now the tools that are available, now, if you want to be to do a wedding, an invitation designer, you can do it.
Absolutely.
It's free.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but it's one of the amazing projects that we have done.
So how the digital entrepreneurship program worked, it was a year-long program. Once a month, there was a big group meeting, right? All 60 would come together with the mentors. And then there would be the main event.
Yeah.
And then we would break away into our groups.
Yeah.
And then we would work on our own projects within that group, right?
And it was during COVID, remember?
It was all done remotely, online. Yes.
Remote.
But so because I got line of sight of what the other team was doing, there's another group that has now gone and created this app that can translate, it's almost like artificial intelligence, but in Sotho, Zulu, Xhosa languages. You don't remember those young people, Khonse?
Kind of what were they translating?
Okay, we'll remember. We are now not so young spring chickens anymore, so sometimes we forget. I think we've done a good job of remembering. But those ones I think were really amazing because I think there was a magazine article or they were covered in the press somewhere and it came out of the work that was done during the digital entrepreneurship program. So let's understand who were the partners in this program. You were able to give the young people a stipend of 1,000.
Yes.
How was that funded?
That came from Gold Youth.
Okay.
So Gold Youth at the time, everyone was concerned, right, with unemployment and it's COVID and young people don't have opportunities to even go and look for work. And we presented this opportunity to say, no, man, but there's this and you can actually, let's equip them with the skills. And then Gold Youth said, okay, we'll find you for like 1,000 rand for transport or whatever it is, data that they need.
So who's Gold Youth? Was it part of the COVID response or did Gold Youth exist before the COVID crisis?
No, it does. It does exist. They're doing a lot of work in the youth space. So they had a call out to say, we want to help in the space. If you have an NPO and you are doing something that is aligned with what we are trying to achieve, hop on board and we'll take you in. And they took us in.
So if you're somebody that's in the space of helping young people figure out the way, Gold Youth can be a resource that you go to even now to say, what are they offering? This is my program. Can we work together?
Yes,
okay.
they do.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you had Gold Youth who was helping you get a little bit of money into their pockets.
And then I had you guys,
the mentors,
right? Get stressed by young people. And then I had Hekima Council,
right?
That was directing and packaged the theory and the program. Yeah, those were the three.
What were the big successes of the program?
It's young people being hired outside what they thought was supposed to be where they thought they were going to end up, It's a classic example of the student then had a BSc genetics, and now because of that program, I remember then through this program, we kept on sharing information, right? And ALX had a program that they could go into. And then
who's ALX?
Africa. It's from the Africa Leadership Academy.
Oh, okay.
The business side of it.
Okay.
Not business. The older, because now they take young people from, I think, the last 2 years of high school. There's ALX where they take the older ones. And I remember this young person sending me a message saying, design thinking again, and she for her to go into this program, she had to answer the questions that were in what we went through. And there was an interview that she went into, and they asked her about this, and she's like, this thing is following me now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But she had that foundation and that understanding because she'd been on the digital entrepreneurship program.
Yes.
Nice.
It's that, and it's other young people that you meet who I remember there was a young person sending wine. Yeah, we meet amazing young people in the program. But she was making wine.
Right. And sorry to hijack your conversation, but the way she ended up selling the wine was such a sexy story. So I just want to digress because Lusobo was not in my group, was she? Maybe she was. Okay, it doesn't matter whose group she was in, but she got a learnership on a wine farm.
Yeah,
that's how she got exposed to wine and the what's the fancy words, the Chardonnays and the cultivars and all those things, because she did a learnership with a wine farm, and then she asked herself, how do I start to sell this wine? And she went to ask them, how can she start to buy wine from them at a discount?
Yes.
That's how her business. How boss move is that?
And then she started doing it.
Yes, I remember.
But what the digital entrepreneurship program did for her is open herself up in terms of what she can do to sell this wine, but also the networks she's building. Because there was a time I went to an event, Hekima Council. You meet people and you're like, I know this one, but you're thinking, okay, maybe it's from work or from the space. Then somebody said, would you like some wine? When I turned, I was like, no, it's that girl.
It's that young person.
And it's the networks. Yeah.
So after
COVID. And even, Khonze, remember how Khonze just, when you meet, where Khonze is now, we have to package it.
Khonze is such an amazing guy. So he was in my group, and he's a young guy from Orange Farm. And his grandma made delicious jam. And the one day he just asked his grandma, why don't you sell this jam? And the grandma said, why don't you sell the jam? So Khonze, who is 23, 24 years old, is now an agro processor in Orange Farm. He grows melon, he grows it's pear jam. There's 4 variants. There's tomato jam, and I forget what the 4th one is. He grows it himself. So for me, Khonze is such a boss, because that is just so not sexy to be in overalls and tilling the soil at that age. It's not a sexy job, but he does it with passion, and that's his hustle. And now he's processing the jam himself. He's selling it. He's at the Youth Owned Brands Awards. He's winning Standard Bank Awards. He's just with such a simple thing.
Hey? And those are the amazing people that we meet. And those are the amazing people we want the young black child who's sitting in a dusty place to say, I can do it. Absolutely. That one did it.
And Kilipanzola, like a real Panzola.
Yeah, it's confusing though, okay? Because you meet Khonze and you want, when he starts speaking, because the first time I met Khonze, I was like, ratadilo, but he's quiet. Then Khonze took the mic, and said, Kgomotso, this is, my name is this person, this is what I do, this is what I'm passionate about. And I was like, what?
Do you know why I'm so proud of Khonze? Khonze is working the system. I've told you of the places where I have met Khonze.
I know.
Where I am at the Sandton Convention Center, and I'm emceeing the Organic Events Expo, and Khonze is there in the audience. Or at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, this was the end of last year, and Khonze is on the panel. He's interviewing somebody. He is just working the system with so much enthusiasm. I'm like, young people, here's your model. He comes with no privilege whatsoever. He comes from Orange Farm. And he's doing it. He's just by putting one foot in front of the other, day by day by day, and just working that system.
And where he is now and what's coming.
That's awesome.
Sure.
So coming out of that with the COVID, that program has also evolved. the digital entrepreneurship program. It's no longer in that format. How has it branched out
So
and expanded the reach?
yeah, the only challenge that we had, right, was the grant that was happening. So at the time, a lot of young people then said, "Oh, I'm not going to do this without the stipend. I'm going to be on my own." Then you had other young people from that program going into doing other programs with Kgomotso Council, and they grew it from that point. So, yeah, that's where it ended up.
But don't you think that the program has now grown in terms of I'm understanding that you're now on campuses, on university campuses, where the message and this thinking is now, and there's some big corporate companies that are supporting this.
And that is being driven by Kgomotso Council.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. So it's no longer under the Raising Giants banner. Okay, but it's a journey you've traveled together. Very nice.